Now, having an uneven hairline can be pretty terrifying whether you are a man or even a lady. But does it mean that you're going to suffer from hair loss? In this video today, we're going to be looking at the uneven hairline, we're going to be looking at the causes, and then we're going to be showing you exactly how to fix an uneven hairline. So make sure to stay tuned. So guys, before we get into the video on an uneven hairline, if you are worried about your own hair loss, what you can do is click the link in the description, upload a quick hair selfie, answer a few short questions, and then you're going to get a free hair guard analysis. So what you're going to learn about today in this video is we're going to be looking at what causes an uneven hairline. We're going to be looking at whether or not it's an early sign of hair loss. We're going to be looking at other symptoms to indicate hair loss. We're going to look at how you can fix your own hairline. We'll look at using a natural minoxidil alternative, and then we've got a brief conclusion. What is an uneven hairline and what causes it? An uneven hairline is a hairline that is asymmetrical, typically with one side having less hair than the other. This is a common phenomenon experienced by both men and women. Now, there's a few things which can contribute to this kind of hairline, from traction alopecia to male pattern baldness to genetics. But let's take a closer look at each one. Now, traction alopecia is really just a fancy term for hair loss caused by overstyling, but it's a common problem for many men and women. Even in individuals with healthy hair follicles and no family history of male pattern baldness, hair loss can occur as a result of too much stimulation or too much pressure. This can be seen in both males and females. Also, male pattern baldness. It's commonly believed that male pattern baldness is caused by a sensitivity to dihydrotestosterone, a byproduct of the sex hormone testosterone. Men with this form of balding experience hair loss in the telltale M-shaped pattern. This is because androgen receptors are located in abundance near the temples, and this is what DHT attaches to when it makes its way to the scalp. Also, genetics. Just as the majority of faces aren't symmetrical, the same can be said for hairlines. So if receding hairlines are a common occurrence in your family and they aren't accompanied by hair loss, then it's likely that the unusual recession is simply your natural hairline. So, is an uneven hairline an early sign of hair loss? If you've just begun to notice a recession pattern to your hairline, you may be wondering whether it's a sign of imminent hair loss. And the answer is maybe. As mentioned above, male pattern baldness can certainly contribute to thinning and hair loss on the hairline. And in some individuals, this balding can be asymmetrical. So, how can you know whether your hairline is natural or a symptom of something more? First, you want to ask yourself when the hair loss appeared. If you've had it all your life and hair loss has never been a problem, then it's likely that this is just your natural line. It's also possible for the hairline to start receding in different places at a later point, during your late teens and early 20s, without it being a sign of imminent hair loss. This is because as you mature, your hairline does as well. And this is a natural process, and as long as the receding stops, it is nothing to worry about. If the unevenness of your hairline has seemed to occur almost overnight, however, then it's good to better acquaint yourself with other symptoms commonly seen in individuals in the early stages of balding. Now, as male pattern baldness progresses, it becomes much easier for the loss to be diagnosed as such. In the beginning, however, the symptoms may be a bit more subtle. So let's take a look at some of the common symptoms associated with hair loss. Now, the first symptom is obvious hair loss in the shower. Due to the agitation involved in shampooing and massaging your scalp and hair, the shower is a great place to keep an eye on hair fall. Of course, while you can't exactly measure the amount of hair loss seen, it's quite easy to tell when it's becoming more than usual. Also, an itchy and flaky scalp. Now, if your hair loss is caused by androgenetic alopecia, then it's likely that you have a buildup of DHT on your scalp. This buildup can contribute to the itching and flaking that is commonly seen in individuals with hair loss. Fortunately, there are natural ways to remove buildup of DHT on the scalp. Also, slowed growth. Pattern hair loss occurs as a result of hair follicle miniaturization. In simplest terms, the sensitivity to DHT triggers the resting phase in the follicles. This leads to shorter and shorter hairs being produced until eventually the hair shaft is too short to penetrate the scalp. Also, wispy hair. As the hair loss progresses, you may notice thinning in the form of wispy areas of hair. This is most likely to be seen in the temples or near the forehead because, as mentioned previously, this is where the most sensitive androgen receptors reside. And also genetics. While having relative male pattern baldness doesn't mean you're 100% predestined to inheriting it, it does mean you're genetically predisposed to the condition. So how can you fix your hairline? There are a few popular methods, both natural and not, which can be used to fix your line of hair. The first is getting a hair transplant. We don't recommend hair transplants because there's just so many natural methods for treating hair loss, but there's no doubt that this is a common treatment for men and women who suffer from uneven hairlines. The procedure involves the grafting of hair from other parts of the body onto the bald areas. There are a few different harvesting methods through follicular unit transplant involving the extraction of a linear strip of hair is the most common. Also, you can look at using minoxidil. In almost half of individuals who use minoxidil to treat frontal baldness, results are positive. However, before you give this method a try, there's two major things to consider. The first is that minoxidil only works for as long as you use it. This means that while the results may be encouraging, you'll have to continue use for your whole life if you want to continue to see them. It also takes quite a long time to work and often involves an initial period of shedding. Second, frontal baldness are typically related to male pattern baldness as mentioned above, and the only way to truly treat the problem is to treat the underlying cause. So what you can do is you can actually create your own homemade topical DHT blocker. And what you'll need is 2 parts of emu oil, 6 parts of hyaluronic acid, 1 part of pumpkin seed oil, 1 part of saw palmetto, and a derma roller. The parts mean you can make as much or as little of the mixture as you like, and you can store the combined mixture in your fridge for up to 1 month. So feel free to experiment with amounts until you find the right amounts for you. For best results, we recommend using the derma roller prior to the serum. To use, gently roll across parts of your scalp where you'll be applying the DHT blocker. Do this slowly and repeat the process at least 4 times, and this will ensure maximum absorption of the blocker. Next, apply the serum with either a cotton ball or clean finger and massage it into the affected areas of the scalp, evenly distributing the serum throughout. Allow the serum to sit on your scalp for at least 30 minutes and then rinse with lukewarm water. Now, when it comes to minoxidil, we personally don't use minoxidil, but what we recommend is to use magnesium oil and add this around peppermint oil and rosemary oil. So each night before you go to bed, you can spray this on your hairline, and it helps stimulate hair growth and block DHT. And then simply wash it out in the morning, and it's one of the easiest and most effective ways to keep your hairline as natural and healthy as possible. As you can see from the chart below, peppermint oil has showed better results than minoxidil and jojoba oil in saline solution. And as you can see from the chart below, peppermint oil receives the highest hair growth score out of all liquids. This is why we recommend the mixture and to use it on your hairline every night before bed. As discussed, a wonky hairline can be an indicator of a deeper issue, namely male pattern baldness, but it can also simply be a natural occurrence due to genetics. However, there are ways to treat the issue no matter its cause. This article is just the beginning. If your patchy hairline does worry you and you think it may be the first sign of pattern baldness, we recommend tackling the problem now. For example, there are diet changes and scalp massage which can help to thicken your hairline within a few months when done correctly. So guys, that's what we wanted to share with you today on the uneven hairline. Again, if you're worried about your own hair loss, click the link in the description to get your free hair guard analysis. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.